If you think you need the best editing workflow to nail Nightscape edits, you are missing the point. There is a different approach I use that lets me get edits like this. So in this video, I'll show you my exact editing mindset, why I believe it's the best way to go about editing, and give you some of my best editing tips so you can start using them right away. So imagine you are in your hometown and you want to drive to a certain place. What's the best approach? To have to use Google Maps and follow exact directions, or just know the area? You will say, yeah, I know the area. I don't want to use Google Maps. It's my home city. That's how you should approach editing. Basically, the workflow is like using Google Maps. You can do it, yeah, but it's a lot better and lets you reveal a lot more creativity if you actually just know how to do stuff, know your software, and you don't have to exactly follow instructions and step-by-step stuff, but you can just let your creativity guide you, and the software and basically your hands moving the mouse and the keyboard, like the inputs on the PC, and the software is just an extension of your creativity. Think of it that way. If so far you have been just following workflows and following what other people tell you to do to edit, no wonder why you're not 100% satisfied with your edits. Because understanding the general direction you want to move and how the software works and why you do each step is far more important than just doing the step itself. And I keep saying this phrase for a lot of things in life. I basically have a light bulb moment for a lot of stuff, like being a creator, like the business side of things, like photography. I keep saying this phrase. There is level to this. If you imagine every aspect of life, this phrase applies to it. So it applies to editing as well and understanding the software. So now that I got your curiosity about how to edit your shots, let's get a bit more practical. I want to give you an example. I recently, in the last year or so, started using a star glow filter. I got the Case Dreamstar view, if you are curious about that. And it lets me capture images like this. I'll put some on screen now, where you see the stars are brighter than big stars. And it adds a nice vibe to the image. When I got that, I didn't have to Google workflows on how to apply that or how to use it, because I knew how to use filters in the first place, like in front of the camera, yeah, the technical stuff. Then I knew how to register images because I used to use hydrogen alpha data before that, so I knew how to make the one image basically of the sky, the hydrogen, aligned with the other image, the actual light frames, or the RGB, as I call it, image I have captured, and I knew how to align them, to register them, as it's called in Nightscapes or in deep sky photography, basically in astro. So it was okay. I have to register it somehow, but then I have the sky. I have to remove the stars. What if the stars don't all go at once? Yeah, I can use this software and this software, Star Exterminator and StarNet, a few runs of each. At most, we'll get rid of every star, and then blend it how I blend regular stars. So I got the filter, and after one use, I knew exactly how to add the data on top of my RGB data. Basically, because I knew how to use my software, I got a new toy, let's put it that way. And in one use, I knew exactly how to add it on top of the existing data and images to create the effect I wanted. Many people apparently can't do that, and they need exact guidance. And that's what I want to tackle in this video, because yeah, it's nice to have a tutorial to follow. It's nice to have someone else with experience on that topic to tell you exactly what to do. But it's even nicer if you have enough of a knowledge base to basically be able to figure out things yourself and do it quickly. Like if you have to spend a month experimenting to figure it out, yeah, that's bad. If you have to spend like 30 minutes, that's good. So yeah, what I want you to do is, okay, you're using probably Photoshop, maybe a software to stack. If you are a bit deeper into this, you might be using PixInsight, you might be using Lightroom, most certainly. So understand how these softwares work, and you might argue Photoshop is such a large use case of Photoshop. Maybe you don't care about graphic design or about, you know, when they say something is Photoshop because basically they add something that shouldn't be there on an image and it looks natural. Maybe you don't want to get into that territory of Photoshop, for example, because there is a larger use case of how you use the software, but understand the astro side of it. and know everything you can do. Like if you tell me, okay, I need to darken the sky for this image, for example, someone asked me about that a month back. What I did is I sent him like 3, 4, 5 different ways to do that in Photoshop instantly without having to think about it. Because I just know how to use Photoshop. And this might sound that I'm coming off arrogant, like, yeah, I know how to do stuff. But no, what I'm trying to explain here is it's a really important skill, like high ROI, return on investment. Basically, you invest a few hours, days, whatever. You invest your time into learning the software. And this might be from watching videos, watching my tutorials. If you find like a PDF or something, if you do trial and error yourself, a way to invest time, possibly money, into learning the software. And then you have those skills for the rest of your life, and it becomes easier and easier to edit. So it's a high return on investment, whatever the investment might be, learning how to use your editing software. And if you get a new software, you'll have to go through the learning curve again. But if you become a master at that too, again, unlocks possibilities while editing. So that's what I want you to do, to become a master of your software. There are a few, in general, good skills to have in astrophotography that will determine if your images are okay or great. First of all, if you learn how to perfectly stretch your image. A lot of people get that wrong, and I sometimes get it wrong as well. It's not that I am trying to say, yeah, I stretch perfectly every time. Sometimes I have to repeat it. Sometimes I have to leave and come back later to redo it because I messed up and my brain is not working while editing. Yeah, but if you learn how to stretch the sky nicely 70, 80, 90% of the times, that will let you unlock possibilities in your images. Also, blending the foreground with the sky is a very important skill to have. Otherwise, you will make edits that look unnatural. And yeah, you might have the best sky ever, like edited the sky to perfection. But if the foreground looks like a patch there, it won't be as nice of an image. So if you're capturing a foreground, and if you are anything like me, and since you do it, you want to do it at its best. Like my approach in life is, if I do something, I'll give it everything. I'll do it to the best I can. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing to the full. So if you have the same approach, which I really recommend everyone should have with editing at least, because it's just a few extra steps to get the best image. If you have this approach, you'll say, okay, since I captured the foreground, since I edited the foreground and I didn't just capture a patch of the sky, might as well spend 5 more minutes and blend it properly. And I will link below, I have a beginner's guide on Nightscape photography, and in there I have a link for a video. In that video, I show you how to blend the sky. Like I'm 99% sure. If I don't show you, I show you a different technique on how to do it, but the technique I'm thinking is basically when I remove the stars from the foreground, then use a gradient to carefully blend the atmosphere from the foreground image with the sky image, so it's seamless. But if I don't have that, I will soon have some resources on that, so I'll talk about that in a bit. But basically I'm in the process of launching a community on School, if you know the platform, and in there I want to create actually the best educational platform for Nightscape photography, because I realized to get my knowledge, or if you want to learn more from me, it's a bit expensive for some people, because we are talking like workshops and one-to-one coaching and stuff like that. And I wanted to make this the next level to the YouTube videos, affordable to everyone. So I'm just launching a relatively affordable community that will have a lot of good stuff in there. We'll have courses, which the editing stuff I'm talking about, I will have a recording of that. I will have Q&A calls, I'll have image feedback for now, and then I will probably add a lot more stuff when people come in and request them. I'll have this as my baby, basically. I'll make it the best community I can. If you met me from like in person the last few weeks, like when you attended one of my workshops or anything, and you have seen me talk about this, you'll have realized I'm very passionate about making this a nice place for Nightscape photographers to learn about new techniques, new stuff, like get connections. I'll have like a map feature where you can put your location and other people can say, you are there, so they might send you a message, you want to go shoot together, stuff like that. So it's a nice community place with educational stuff too. Anyway, enough of me self-promoting. Next point I want to talk about is creating a flow in your images with the contrast, the color, the way you position stuff when you crop. This is basically photographic skills, but it lets you make the other person looking at the image actually like it, and not say, oh yeah, that's a nice sky. They say, that's a nice image. I have an image, I recently posted it, you have probably seen it maybe if you follow me on Instagram too, but that night I went to shoot the image and I got a bit of cloud clouds. It wasn't my favorite shot because the sky had some clouds in it. I edited it, and basically I used that flow, that color theory. That is my next point. I want to talk about learning how to use color theory. But I used that to basically create a flow in the image. And the comments I got, I was amazed at how much people liked the image. And it wasn't about the sky, because the Milky Way was there, but most of the sky was clouds. So what actually helped the image? The general photography, like guiding the eye, color theory, and everything there. So yeah, that's high ROI skills again. You have to invest your time and possibly money into learning those skills. I am not really posting editing tutorials on this channel because I want to keep videos where I just sit in front of the camera and talk to you, give you my ideas, my thoughts about different topics. But if you want me to do editing videos, let me know, like in the comments, and I will see how I can make that fit. Because I know a lot of people editing, they consider it the most difficult part. And for me, it's maybe like 60-70% of the image is the editing. Yeah, the files are great. You have to have nice raw files, the composition and everything, but everything else goes to waste if you don't edit it the right way. So yeah, let me know if you want some editing resources from me. Basically, I keep editing for more raw format of videos. And if you were in my previous school community, the free one, you might have seen like I posted an editing tutorial every few days. Basically, every time I edited an image, I posted a tutorial too. Basically, I just sit in front of the camera, share my thoughts while editing, and say stupid stuff, laugh, and so on. If you want to see some very raw videos of me editing, just let me know. Anyway, I have 3 rapid fire tips I want to give you. That's my approach with editing, basically. That's how I do stuff, but might help you too, most probably. I edit the sky first, stack it, stitch a panorama if needed. If I capture the panorama, stretch it, go to Photoshop then, because I stretch in Pixinset, go to Photoshop, fix a bit the light pollution, maybe use a gradient here and there, do stuff like that. Then fix the color, fix everything I can about the image, edit it, have it ready, and then open the foreground file. Yeah, sometimes I don't follow that order. Sometimes I just do the foreground a bit and then edit the sky and then fix the foreground a bit more. But I finish with the sky. I did it first, and then the sky, let me imagine the shot. Let me play a mental movie, or a mental image in this case, of how the shot will look. And then I edit the foreground to basically make it match with the sky. And it's a bit weird for me to talk about technical stuff, but it's basically the tone, how much attention I need to give to the foreground. This image here I recently captured at my Tenerife and La Palma workshop, which was interestingly the best time I had shooting Nightscapes. The skies were amazing there, the company was amazing, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, this shot here, for example, Cygnus is not as dominant in the image. Yeah, there is a bit of color there, there's a bit of light pollution to the right, to the left, yeah, I know. But the highlight of the image is me holding that light. When editing the image, I could have easily not made that light such dominant and made the Milky Way, basically the Cygnus region, and the sky more dominant, like more contrast there and everything. I edited the sky. I thought, yeah, that's a nice approach to edit the sky. And then I said, okay, now I need a subject in the image. And my silhouette with the light behind it was the perfect subject. So what I had to do then was to make my silhouette stand out more by making the light more dominant. It's stuff like that. When you edit the sky first and you end up with a nice sky, then it lets you quickly like, yeah, that's what I have to do with the foreground. And I know it might not come as easily for you, but over time it will. If you're a beginner, maybe you need some inspiration here and there. Take a look at my images. I'll even put some on screen now of my latest images, including me with a light and stuff, because that's all I did in the Tenerife and La Barba workshop. I really like these kind of shots, like with me included or a silhouette included. So I just spammed that. Basically, I covered the second point accidentally as well. The second point of the 3 I want to rapid fire is that you have a basic vision and you bring that to life. Basically, that's the example again with Cygnus and me holding the light. My vision was for that to be the emphasis of the image, and then I edited accordingly. I edited the color, tone, I darkened some parts, I brightened others, I did some dodge and burning and everything. If you don't know what that is, dodging is brightening, burning is darkening selectively to make things pop. So I did all of that to bring the vision to life. That's how editing should work. You shouldn't say, yeah, I'm editing just to follow steps. You should say, okay, I'm editing to achieve this. It's like, imagine I tell you I go to the gym daily and you ask me why, and I say, I just go there. Or on the other hand, I tell you I go to the gym daily. You tell me why. I really like getting stronger. I want to squat like 2 times my body weight weight and I want to deadlift 3 times my body weight. So I have a structured program to do that. The second one sounds a lot more serious, right? It's the same thing with editing. You don't say, just edit for the sake of it. You edit with a vision to bring it to life. You are targeted. That makes a huge difference. And the last point is that maybe you edit the sky, you edit the foreground. If you have a certain style, that's the time to add it. It's not 100% every time, but imagine if you like to have very colorful shots. You edit the sky, you edit the foreground, you blend it, you have the final image, and then you make the shot very colorful. Or you make the sky a bit colorful and the foreground and then blend it, but you get what I mean. Treat the image as a canvas. You add the sky, you add the foreground, you do basic stuff. At some point, the artistic side should kick in. That might happen from the beginning, from the composition. Remember all of those shots with myself, the silhouette included. They're all like, that's my artistic side for that trip basically. And most of my photography, I have some other shots doing that because I just like the technique. But you want to add your character in the list, you have to tick that. But you might not have to do it from the point where you start editing the image. You can just do it at the end. Yeah, if it's including you in the image, you have to blend it with the rest of the foreground. I usually take a longer exposure for the foreground and a shorter with me in it, and I just blend that part so I don't get a lot of noise. If you are doing a lot of hydrogen alpha, star glow filters, you will have to add it before you blend everything, like when you edit the sky. But if you have your own style with color, with tone, with whatever, maybe edit the whole thing and then do it at the end. That's how I do it. That's how it works for me. Basically, I just started doing more colorful stuff. I don't boost the color and the saturation and everything until I have the whole image together. I'll actually put a TIFF file of my final version of an image after I blended it, and then next to it, then JPEG after I imported it in Lightroom and gave it my touch, basically my style with the colors and everything else. I now feel like going for. Basically, if you ask me in 5 months or whatever, I might say, no, that's not my style anymore. I just prefer this one now. But for now, that's my style. I always add it at the end. That works for me. It will probably work for you. So yeah, it was a bit of a longer video, this one, but hopefully you have found this mindset helpful because that's how it works for me. It works amazingly, editing, and that's what I want you to start doing as well, because I want your photos to be amazing too. You edit the right way, the image becomes better. If your composition is not as strong, then what's the point, right? And there's a single mindset shift I have found to make stronger compositions in your images, and it's creating a connection between the foreground and the sky, or a connection between humanity and space, if you want to put it that way. I have a whole video about that. It's actually really important. Even if you think, that sounds like nothing serious, just give it a chance, take a look. It will be up here. It will instantly make your understanding for Nightscapes better, I promise.